Hey guys, I'm Michael DiPiazza, and today I'm going to be talking about a lesser known part of Native American boarding schools called the outing system. When most people think about boarding schools, they think about strict rules, cutting hair, and forcing kids to speak English. But the outing system goes even further than that. It wasn't really about education, it was more about control, labor, and it took Native American children out of schools and placed them directly into white households where they were expected to live and work. And when you really look at it, you start to see that this system played a huge role in trying to completely reshape Native identity. So what exactly was the outing system? The outing system was when Native American students were sent away from their boarding schools to live with white families, sometimes for months or even years at a time. The official idea was that this would help them learn American culture faster by being fully immersed in it. Schools and government officials claimed it would prepare them for life in American society. But in reality, most of these students weren't treated like learners. They were treated like workers. Boys were often sent to farms to do physical labor, and girls were sent to homes to clean, cook, and take care of children. Instead of gaining education, they were basically being used as unpaid or very low-paid labor. The purpose of the system wasn't just about learning skills. It was really about changing who these kids were. By placing them in white households, the goal was to completely remove them from their native culture. They were separated from their families, their languages, and their traditions. The idea was that if they spent enough time surrounded by white American life, they would start to adopt those values and forget their own. This connects to be the bigger goal of boarding schools, which was basically forcing Native Americans to give up their identity and become more like white Americans. So the outing system wasn't random. It was a very intentional way to speed that process up. Life in the outing system was often really difficult for these students. Many of them worked long hours, every day doing chores or labor, with very little time for actual schooling. Some weren't even allowed to continue their education while they were placed with these families. They were also completely isolated. They were far from their families and often in environments where no one shared their background or understood what they were going through. Imagine being a kid taken away from everything familiar and placed in a home where you're expected to work constantly and adapt to a different culture. That kind of isolation made the experience even more stressful and traumatic. Because the children had very little power or protection, the outing system often led to exploitation. Many families took advantage of the situation knowing the students couldn't easily leave or speak up. Some children were overworked or treated unfairly. In more serious cases, there were reports of physical and emotional abuse. And the biggest issue was that there weren't strong systems in place to protect them. Even though schools were technically responsible for the students, they didn't always monitor these placements closely. So the outing system created an environment where abuse could happen and often go unchecked. The long-term impact of the outing system didn't just end when the students left. It had long-term consequences. Many students lost their connection to their culture, language, and even their families. After spending so much time in these environments, it could be hard to return to their communities and feel like they belong. This kind of experience caused emotional and physical trauma that stayed with them for years. And the trauma didn't just affect individuals, it carried into future generations. Families and communities were impacted by the loss of culture and identity, and those effects are still felt today. So when we talk about the outing system, we're not just talking about history, we're talking about something that has long-lasting psychological trauma effects on these people. And why it matters is the outing system shows that Native American boarding schools weren't just about education. They were part of a larger system designed to control and reshape Native lives. It wasn't just about teaching new skills, it was about erasing cultures and replacing them with something else. Understanding this helps us see the full picture of what Native American communities went through. It also helps explain why these issues still matter today, because the effects didn't just disappear. They continue to impact people and communities. The more we learn about the systems like this, the better we can understand history and connect to the present. You can't really understand Native American boarding schools without looking at systems like the outing system, because they show how deep and damaging they really were to the Native American community. And these are my sources. Thank you so much.